with respect to the fires in central Newfoundland. First, let me say that I know it's a stressful time to the citizens of central Newfoundland, and let me tell you that you have the full force of all levels of government across Canada wanting to help navigate through this difficult time. We thought it was appropriate at this point to give an update, given the dynamic, changing situation of the fires and of your personal situations, perhaps. Right now, we've been fortunate that the weather has cooperated, and that means that the wind patterns have been cooperating, and that, frankly, we've got some much-needed rain. We've had 10 millimeters of rain before 8 a.m. this morning, and it's still raining over the fire area as we speak. So that is much needed precipitation right now. Some more good news in the fact that the winds have not behaved as predicted, and consequently you're not seeing the volume of smoke in Grand Falls, Windsor, and Bishop Falls. Yet further good news is the Bay d'Espoir Highway servicing Coast of Bays and the Connaigre Peninsula is now passable. That may not be passable for long, and we are monitoring it regularly, but right now, given the smoke conditions, it is favorable to pass. RCMP are helping people along the way, and we ask people to take their time when traveling through the smoke. That said, it is still an out-of-control fire. Well, two fires now that are separated, and has grown overnight to an area of 200 square kilometers now. So it is still very active. It still needs to be treated with significant respect because it is not controlled. Anything can change, as we've seen in the last 72 hours, and we are very cognizant that things can change again. We have evacuated patients from Central Health and long-term care facilities, but emergency services remain active in Central Health right now, in Grand Falls, Windsor. We have evacuated everybody that we intend to evacuate now from Central Health in Grand Falls, Windsor, and we are keeping an eye as we move forward. I know there's been a lot of stress and strain with respect to people living in the Coast of Bays region with respect to supplies. The Bay d'Espoir Highway opening today, hopefully for an extended period of time, will allow some supplies to be delivered. As I understand it, there is a transport truck en route now. But despite, irrespective of that, we have been providing supplies using helicopter support. We're still actively working on ferry support, perhaps coming this time from the Ramia side. So we are still very much aware of the isolation that has been caused by the fire and its impact on the Bay d'Espoir Highway, and we are continuing to support you and your families during this troubled time.
Premier, I'm wondering what conditions would you need to see in order to drop the state of emergency?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we continue to follow it very closely, Peter. Right now, it's what the firefighters would describe. They're still in attack mode, so they're really in the acute phase of fighting this fire. And I want to reiterate, the fire path is not currently on a direct route towards Grand Falls, Windsor, and Bishop Falls in terms of the flames. But if the smoke, if the wind changes and heads towards Grand Falls, Windsor, the volume of smoke will be just overwhelming for the citizens of that area. So, yeah, conditions are more favorable, but the smoke conditions are still very real. And if the wind shifts, it's too late to start to evacuate people at that point. So we still want people to be very much on a heightened, be on high alert, and we still have the state of emergency in place right now. Hopefully the weather cooperates, the water bombers are able to do their job, the tankers are able to do their job, and we can have a better sense of control of the fire, and they can move from that attack phase into the next phase of containing that fire, and at which point we'd look at relieving the state of emergency.